talk on this. This 8 limbs of yoga mentioned by Maharishi Patanjali in Patanjali Yoga Sutra. In Patanjali Yoga Sutra, the way Maharishi Patanjali defined the yoga, it is one of the, or I'll say only, the structured way of yoga. Very structured. And this is very old scripture. So in this 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga, look at the word Ashtanga. So the asanas, Ashtanga you do practice is very different than the 8 limbs of yoga of Ashtanga. So that's only asana series. It's made up by someone. And this is described by Maharishi Patanjali. So in this 8 limbs of yoga, you will understand the stages of yoga. You will understand what we need to manage into our life. Basically, this is given by an enlightened person. So Maharishi Patanjali actually want to explain here this 8 limbs of yoga in two ways. Two way means, one, how yogi practice it. What are the stages of yogis? And how an ordinary human should try to practice it. So he did talk in a both way over there. Now here we are also going to learn how yogi performed it in their life and how we should try to practice in our life. Because there is no comparison between us and yogis. Because the things that yogis can do, for us it looks like, oh my God, it's a miracle. Maybe we do not believe it is possible or not. Because we are not on that stage, so it's hard for us to accept. That's happened. Our conscious brain is just 2%. And 2% brain can't understand 100%. So let's do talk on that. Before I go through that, look at these limbs of yoga. First 5, Yam, Niyam, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahar. In Sanskrit, it is known as Bahiranga Yoga, means external limbs of yoga. It is called external limbs of yoga. First 5 are the external limbs of yoga. And last 3, Dharana, Dhyan and Samadhi, is known as Antaranga Yoga, means internal limbs of yoga. So let's start to talk about them one by one, and we are going to discuss in detail about them. So let's talk about the first limb of yoga, Yam. Here the word Yam, there are two meanings of it. One, if I talk to you from the Hindi background, the word Yam is used for the god of death. It is a name of god of death, no? Yamraj. God of death. Yam. No, don't lay down. No, this is nice. I want to also lay down. The second meaning, you want chair?
No.
One chair?
No, because I like to be on the ground.
Okay. So the first is Yam. Yam means the god of death. But here, that doesn't mean here. Here, Yam means self-restraint. Means do not do. Don'ts. So Yam means don'ts. What we should not do. Do not do. Or what yogis don't do. You know, the quality of a yogi, even it is explaining something negative, but never use a negative word to explain something negative. Always use positive word. So Maharishi Patanjali said what we should not, or what a yogi don't do. So look at those 5 Yam are given there. Ahimsa, Satya, Astya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Yama. So the first is written there what? Ahimsa. Ahimsa, the word means no, hinsa means violence, non-violence. Means, what does a yogi don't do? Violence. Ahimsa means non-violence. It means yogi do not do violence. Means to explain negative things, they use only positive words. Here, Maharishi Patanjali said, yogis never ever do any kind of violence. Now, violence are three types mainly: physical, mental, and verbal. Physically, yogis are not violent. Mentally, yogis are also not violent. And verbally, they never. So, you know what Patanjali said? They said, when a yogi achieved the state of non-violence, then nature provides them a power that they can create non-violence nature around them. Means, if a yogi realized the non-violence and stabilized in the state of non-violence, so wherever they go, at whichever places they are, the nature around them become non-violence. Means, if a violent thing come in a contact of a yogi, it would naturally become non-violent. This is the power of non-violence mentioned by Maharishi Patanjali there. There is a story of Buddha life also there. One day Buddha was passing through a jungle. And in that jungle there was a man, a very bad person lives. His name was Anguli Mal. He known as Anguli Mal because whoever go to that jungle, he killed the people, cut the finger of them and making a mala of them and having on his neck. This is the real story of Buddha. So he was making the mala. So Anguli means fingers, Mal means mala. So the man was having the mala of the fingers known as Anguli Mal. So when he met Buddha, he broke his all mala. He bowed down to the feet of Buddha and become the devotee of him. This is true. This has really happened with the yogi life. Everything become non-violent naturally. So this is yogic perspective. Now let's talk about how humans should try it. You know, this modern age is becoming very violent. Forget about others. We are violent to ourselves a lot. We do hurt ourselves a lot. And then we do hurt others too. You know, please don't misunderstood me, but I found a word. We all use that word a lot. Every time. With every relations. You know the word, I love you. I found this word is very violent word. How? I love you means I am pressurizing myself to say I love you. It's a pressure on me. I should say I love you. Please let me complete first. Why? How? I'll just give you an example. You said I love you to someone. You expect I love you from other side too. They should say I love you. And not just with the relationship, a small kid. Even with the nice vibration, nice kindness, you said, hello, I love you, baby. Say I love you to me. Say I love you to you. What we are doing? In simple way, we are trying to give a nice, kind pressure on them. Actually, we forget to say we love each other. Why I am saying this I, actually here I, love you is fine. I represent ahankar, ego in itself. Main. I means main. I love you, you know. You don't know I love you? Means I do something to you. So it seems like I'm forcing something or someone to feel my love. And we always talk about unconditional love. People said love should be unconditional. I said if you are talking about unconditioned, again you are putting a condition over there. Love free from condition and unconditioned. There is no condition, there is no uncondition for the love. It's just a pure love that should be there. So we are violent. Whenever we said, not just with this I love you word, whenever we said I do this, I build this, what is it? Ego. And that's why, because of using this too much I, we feel someone hurt our I. So sometimes we feel, someone is hurting my ego. How can the ego hurt? Ego only hurt if I am carrying this I with myself a lot. If it is sometimes used not much, then this I help me to self-respect myself. And because of this ego, there are two types of ego, individual ego and intellectual ego. So most of the time we only use individual ego, which lead us to the fight, to the violence. That's why we hurt. If intellectual ego is used there, no fights, no hurts, only understand. And somewhere else they have said that if you have violence, that's why if an animal come in a contact of you, they feel it and they start to be violent. They want to protect themselves because you seems like very violent to them. Even you are not doing any violence, but they are in a mode of protection. So this is the Ahimsa, non-violence.